Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine, and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with another new recipe from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is very easy and it's particularly very close to my heart. Why is it close to my heart? Because this recipe was fed to me by my grandmother, and also this recipe has a very old history and it even dates back before the Mughal Empire. Why? Because this recipe is consisting a large amount of spinach, you can say. So this recipe's name is Palak Gosht. So now you might be thinking that what does this mean? Palak means spinach in our Urdu language and gosht means any form of meat. But when we talk about Palak Gosht, the gosht which we're using, or the meat which we're using, is basically mutton. So it is said that spinach was introduced by the Persian Empire to the subcontinent and subsequently to Pakistan 2000 years ago. And it has a very interesting history behind it. So as you know, in the current day or in the current world, spinach is a very integral part of the Italian cuisine also. You see so many different types of pastas and Italian dishes in which spinach is incorporated. But do you know that in the 16th century, not too long ago, spinach was introduced to Italy, and Catherine de' Medici of the famous Medici family loved this vegetable. So when she was married to the French king back in the day, it is also said that Catherine took a large amount of cooks or chefs back in the day with her to her new home, new family, where these different cooks made different recipes out of this one ingredient called the spinach. So this recipe in Pakistan is loved in the province of Punjab mostly, and also in the coastal areas of Sindh. Why? Because in Punjab and in Sindh, spinach is widely consumed as a vegetable in every different class or in every family you come across. So today's recipe has a lot of ingredients, but it's very easy to do. And what are the ingredients? I'll give you a quick rundown. So you need some coriander powder, you need some cumin, you need some garam masala, you need turmeric powder, you need salt to taste, a few sticks of, you can say, cinnamon, you need black pepper, you need red chili powder, then you need around 1 kg of mutton. If you cannot find mutton, what you can do is you can replace it with lamb meat. If you cannot find lamb meat, then what you can do is you can replace it with chicken, as you know that people do love chicken a lot in today's generation. Then you need around half a cup of oil and some lemon juice towards the end, not right now. You need some ginger garlic freshly shredded, around 1 cup of yogurt. Then you need around 3 to 4 green chilies. You need around 1 kg of spinach. Now you would be thinking that 1 kg of spinach, we'll add all of the spinach into the food processor, convert it into a paste, and then you'll see when you cook it, it's going to water down and the water content will evaporate, it will reduce, and you'll find this thick paste which will be basically the spinach you've blended over there. Then you need around 3 onions and 3 tomatoes. So the tomatoes we'll be peeling on the open flame. That's the desi way, the local way. Why? Because you need that char grill flavor in that. And so towards the end we'll use some coriander also, which we'll add into the food. So now what you need to do, it's very easy. You need some onions, around 3 onions. I'll use 2. Why? Because I have the onions and they're basically larger than the medium size, so 2 are enough. And you need around 3 tomatoes. So I'll keep 3 tomatoes over here. First, what you need to do is you need to start finely chopping the onions. But before that, what you need is you need some oil in the pan. Why? Because you want to fry the onions, make them translucent, and then add some salt, and then furthermore you'll add the other ingredients. So first the oil goes in. Once this is hot, the pan is hot, what you'll do is you'll add the onions. So for that, what we'll do is we'll finely chop them, just split them into 2. You can see the root is over here. Why the root is on? For the main reason that the onion doesn't split, doesn't fall apart, and that's what we need. So just make these cuts and finely chop the onion. You don't want the root, so I'll keep the root on the side, remember that. And quickly we shall just do this and then pass a knife and finely chop it. This is done. The root goes on the side. This recipe also has another interesting fact behind it. It's said that during the World War I, what happened was there wasn't a lot of medicine. There was medicine, but usually people didn't rely on the medicines which we have available today. So back in the day, what people used to do was they used to take some spinach, convert it into a paste, and mix the local medicines they used to have, and then give it to the patients, especially the soldiers who were hurt during the World War I. And it is considered back in the day that spinach has a lot of healing properties and it gives a lot of strength. And the funny part is, as everyone knows, that cartoon called Popeye the Sailor Man, spinach was considered also something that the kids used to avoid, but now when you come across these recipes, you know it's delicious to have. Okay, the pan has come to heat. What I'll do is I'll transfer the onions and I'll let them sweat for a bit. Why? Because I want them to be really, really soft. Okay, so just transfer the onions. Add around a quarter teaspoon of salt. That's about it, not too much. I'll add the salt first. The salt is over here, a quarter teaspoon. Why? Because it will help the onions to sweat. Mix it. Give it a lid, and after 30 seconds, when it's really hot, I'll start mixing it more, reduce the heat to low, and then I'll let it cook. Till then, what we'll do is we need to peel the tomatoes. So now you just have to see the onions. I'll just mix it up once. They're getting translucent properly. Give it a lid, reduce the heat to low, and let it cook. Okay, so the next step is take a pressure cooker, which is over here. Place it on the heat. First, add the mutton. Why am I doing this? This will fasten up the cooking process. I will keep it in the pressure cooker for 5 minutes, not too long. Otherwise, if you cook it without the pressure cooker, this recipe will take around 45 to 50 minutes to cook. This way you can get done within like 30 minutes maximum. Okay, the mutton is in there. You'll add some water, not too much, only to cover the meat. And then you will let it cook for around 5 to 10 minutes once the whistle starts blowing. So I'll add a little bit of salt, let's say just a pinch. A stick of cinnamon, take some ginger, not too much because the rest will go in the recipe. Just cut it into 2 pieces and transfer it over here. Move it and try submerging the meat in the cooker. I'll just show it to you once, I'll keep it over here. So I've just put a little bit of water to submerge the meat, and you will not throw this water away. Why? Because this will be the bone broth. We will use this. It's the flavor you need for the recipe later on when we'll be using the spinach to process it over here. We'll use this water. It has like really good flavor in it. So let this be here. Close the lid. Always remember, be very careful. Increase the heat. Once the whistle starts blowing, what I'll do is I'll reduce the heat and count till 5 minutes. Okay, so the onions are done here. Reduce the heat to really low. Why? Because now what I need to do is I'll start peeling the tomatoes. Shift it over here. Keep the handle outside. Take something like this, increase the heat, and start roasting the tomatoes on high heat. What will happen is I'll start peeling them in front of you, and I'll chop them also. It will give this tomato a really nice char grilled flavor. So just turn the side now, the other side. Open heat. You can even use a skewer if you want to. You can also use, in Urdu we call it a seekh, in which we barbecue meat. But this is the easiest way. If you're cooking at your house, just keep moving it and the peel of the tomato will eventually start coming off. I'm burning it, as you can see, on open heat, and now transfer it over here. The other one goes in. Same you'll do for all the 3 tomatoes. Increase the heat to high and just grill them on high heat, open flame. When this is done, shift the side of the tomato and just do this for all the sides. Takes a little bit of time, but this is the way you'll get the traditional flavor out of the ingredient I'm using over here. And whenever we're talking about Pakistani cooking, it's all about traditional cooking. You know that. So as you can see, I've peeled 3 of the tomatoes. The last one I'm just doing. You just have to peel them and then we'll finally chop them. You can see the flavor of the burnt skin goes in. That's what we want. We want that char grill flavor. Slowly and gradually, just take the eye of the tomato out. So now the eye of the tomato goes. And then just pick this up and throw it in the dustbin. You just have to keep the paring knife on the side, slice them from in between. Finally chop these tomatoes now. And these are done. Just rinse your hands once. Dry them out, and you can see now the whistle is blowing. Reduce the heat to low and let it cook for 5 minutes. This goes over here, and now what you need to do is increase the heat of the onions to full and transfer the tomatoes over here. The tomatoes go on one side. And now you need to add some of the spices. So if you're seeing the blackness on the board, that's fine, that's just the tomato, so don't worry. You'll add around 2 sticks of cinnamon, keep the rest at the back. Add around half a teaspoon of salt. And mix it up. Increase the heat to high. Add some red chilies, spread it out properly, and mix it up again. Give it a lid, the lid is over here, and let it cook for 5 minutes on low heat. Till the time the tomatoes cook and soften up and the mutton is also cooking, go for a short break. Once we're back, we'll continue. There's a lot to do. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break, we just did one thing. We let the pressure cooker cool down. As you can see, the mutton is properly cooked. What's sign of mutton being cooked? I'll show you. I'll pick up a piece of the rib part. You can see the meat is going back. That means the meat is 50% cooked. And now you can see the water over here, which I didn't let go. This is the broth, this is the flavor, this is what you need. Try saving this water every time you use the pressure cooker and then use it in your food instead of the water you add on top to liquefy the whole curry or to allow the meat to cook more. That's why you add water. You can see the tomato and everything is properly cooked. Now what I'll do is, you have to see, I shall add some spices to this. Firstly, I'll add some cumin. Then I'll add some coriander powder. I'll mix it properly. And what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the spatula and I'm pressing the tomatoes down while I'm spinning it. Why? Because I need to make the tomatoes into a paste, into a thick textured paste, and this will only happen when I fry it and push it down to the pan. So this is done. Now what you need to do next is add some spices to it. So what I'll do is I'll put a lid on it and then we'll take some ginger and around 3 to 4 pieces of garlic. So what we'll do is we'll shred them. So the shred is over here. Use the most fine side. First I'll go in with the ginger. When this is done, keep it on the side, shake it and push the ginger over here. Now the garlic, around 5 cloves, and the end part you'll throw it away. You don't need this. Tap it down once and then rinse your hands. This is done. Now what you need to do is add this to the pan. Why? Because ginger and garlic is a very essential part of the Pakistani cooking process. It brings out flavor, and the other thing it does is when you see the other cuisines around the world, people when from Pakistan eat outside, or many people when they eat meat, they say there's this smell that's coming in the meat. Ginger and garlic helps to kill that smell. This is why we use it a lot. Now mix it properly, and you should add the meat to it now. So the meat goes in, but I should change the pan. So pick up a bigger pot, take the lid off, transfer all the goodness over here, and keep this on the side. This goes over here, we don't need it anymore. Bring this pan to heat, and I'll add only like 2 tablespoons of oil. I have the bottle over here on the side only, not too much. This goes over here again. And now just add the meat to the pan. The meat goes in. Mix it up properly. I want the tomato and the onions to mix with the mutton. Give it a lid and let it cook for around 2 to 3 minutes. So till the time this is cooking, what we'll do is we'll just arrange the counter properly. Why? Because we still have a lot to do. I'll wipe my knife with some tissue and then the board. Just lightly. Okay, this goes into the dustbin again. And now we come over here. We need to process the spinach. So I'm using 1 kg of spinach. So what I'll do is I'll just roughly chop it. What I've done also is that you can see the spinach over here. It's a bundle. So the sticks are usually another 3 to 4 inches longer. That's the part where the spinach is growing in the soil. So I've cut that part. You will just take the leafy ends, roughly chop it, 1, 2, and 3. Pick it up and start putting it in the food processor. So we can do it in 2 batches. Why? Because it's a lot of spinach. Add the broth of the mutton slowly. Half of it goes in now, and then the other half will go with the other spinach. So put a lid back on. Remember, whenever you're putting a hot broth or any hot form of liquid, you always have to take a piece of cloth, which is over here, place it on top, and be safe. As you can see, it's done. Now what I'll do is I'll add the remaining spinach to this. So get some more spinach. So much of green. Take the baskets away, put it on the side, and now cut it up roughly again. Okay, so the finer you cut it, the easier it is. But right now we have a good blender. So we shall just add it over here. This goes in. So does the end part. Push it down, but not too much, and do it in batches. So first, then spin it again, keep the lid on, and keep some cloth on, and process it. Add some more. This is actually the best part, you know, when you're processing stuff and it's delicious and you have a good blender. It's like a luxury in the kitchen, you can say. Put this back on and then process it further. This is done. So now what you'll do is, you don't need the remaining stock. Pick the stock up, keep it at the back, and if you want to save it for next time, you can do it. Okay, so now we have this delicious spinach, but not right now. Increase the heat over here, and now add some other things. Add some turmeric. Some black pepper, whole. Then add some garam masala. This is done, and mix it up properly. It smells delicious. It's a bit spicy, so my eyes are a little watery. Okay, now what you need is some yogurt. And you should cook the yogurt till it reduces. Don't add the spinach right now. Mix the yogurt up. Give it a lid and let it cook for around 1 minute. Also, you need some green chilies, which I'll finely chop. Let me just clear the board once, a little bit. Always clean as you go. And for the green chilies, take the stems off first and then wash your knife once. This is done. I'm just going to sharpen my knife a bit. And then finally chop it. Mix it up once more. Reduce the heat to medium. Take the stems, throw it away. Take the lid off, keep it here, and transfer the green chilies into this. Whatever you don't need goes at the back. Some salt goes here, around half a teaspoon, and then you won't need any more. You can see the mutton is 80% cooked now. And last but not the least, the lemon goes in the end. Why? Because if you add lemon right now, what will happen is, let's say the meat won't cook properly. Why? Because the lemon will slow down the cooking process. Take around 4 tablespoons of coriander, which I'll finely chop. This is done. You shall add this to the blender over here. I shall transfer it. And mix it up once more. Give it a lid and process it. Rinse your hands once, and this goes into this. So I'll take the lid off, pick this up, and you shall cook this till it reduces down to a thick paste. Okay, so increase the heat and add all of this. This is done. Keep it on the side. Give it a lid. And just clean it up once a bit. Just on the edges. Why? Because I don't like my counter to be really dirty. And then you can see some coriander over here. Put your hand over here and just try taking as much as you can off from the board. This goes here. Now mix this up. Slowly and gradually. Give it a lid and let it cook for 10 minutes on medium heat. So till the time this is cooking, what I'll do is I'll clean out the place and then I'll show you the final look of the recipe. Don't go anywhere. And as you can see, today's recipe is done. I've cooked for around 6 people, but I've served only for 2 people. These are single servings done. You can add some like small dollops of yogurt on top and also cream. Today's recipe was really easy, it's delicious, and I hope you'll try it at home. I'll see you in another episode of Indus Cuisine. Signing out, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.